Alright y'all, welcome to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little more informative. We're going to be talking about the difference in protein synthesis when you're in a postprandial, which is a fancy term for a fed state, versus the effects on protein synthesis when you're in a fasted state. Now, the reason why we're talking about this is because protein plays a vital role, not just in building muscle, but we'll touch on that as well. But protein is also responsible for a lot of the vital responses in your body. Every tissue in your body is comprised of amino acids, and amino acids are the building blocks of what? Protein. So when you ingest protein, you get these amino acids. Amino acids and protein are basically responsible for all of the vital organs and tissues, such as the liver, the kidneys, the gallbladder, the spleen, the brain, the small intestine, the colon. I mean, you think of it, it is comprised of some form of protein. Your eyes, all of those things have protein in it, okay? Have amino acids in it. So this is the reason why this video is important. Now, when you are in a postprandial or a fed state, right, you've just eaten, your belly is full, protein synthesis is going to be higher and protein degradation is going to be decreased. When you think of protein synthesis, think of the ability to create new tissues, rebuild and repair. You are in a growth and a repair phase when you eat, okay? And glucagon is going to be lower and insulin is going to be higher when you are in a fed state. More on glucagon and insulin in a second. When you are fasted, the ratio of glucagon to insulin flips. Insulin drops, glucagon increases, protein synthesis decreases, and protein degradation increases, okay? I'm going to come back to this. Insulin and glucagon are basically two secretions that are responsible for the metabolism in your body, right? When you think of glucagon, think of catabolism. Catabolism is basically another word for breaking down, and when you think of insulin, think of anabolism or growth and repair. Again, glucagon is going to be released because it detects that you have no outside food sources of energy, i.e. glucose or glycogen, in your body, and so it decides that it's going to convert protein into this source of energy via gluconeogenesis. What it does is it takes from the muscle cells in your body primarily so that there's still enough protein left for your vital organ tissue. So from a muscle building perspective, glucagon is not going to be your friend, but when you're in a starved state and you need to survive, survival is key. Then glucagon is going to be your friend because it's not going to break down your liver or your brain or your heart before it breaks down your muscles. Your muscles are not a priority when you're in that state, okay? Insulin, on the other hand, is anabolic. It's released when you, shortly after you have a meal, and basically it's released because it detects that, of course, there's plenty of amino acids in the body. So now it's time to grow. Now it's time to repair any damaged cells, anything like that. And because you've got plenty of resources left to be able to release insulin, then the body now focuses on being able to build new muscle and stuff like that, because all of the other important organs such as the liver, kidneys, and the spleen have adequate protein to take care of them, okay? So it's not in that survival state anymore now. Shortly after a fed state, like I said, insulin is going to be higher, glucagon is going to be lower. But when you are in a fasted state, that ratio flips. Glucagon is higher and insulin is lower. And again, from a bodybuilding perspective, that's a bad thing, but from an overall survival point, that's a good thing. Now, I'm not telling you to not necessarily self-induce fasting. This typically is an exaggerated form. If you're fasting anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, or you actively participate in intermittent fasting, you're pretty much fine. You're still going to see some sort of decrease in protein synthesis, but it really shouldn't be too much to hinder your gains and you building new muscle. And it also shouldn't impact your overall immune system. When you are in a prolonged state, however, now it starts to impact the immune system. And the reason why is because protein is also responsible for the vital cells that are responsible for carrying out the immune system response. You have three primary cells involved in the immune system. You have macrophages, cytokines, and you have immunoglobulin A, or IgA for short. When it comes to these three cells, think of cytokines as the general. They regulate the entire thing. They carry out the orders. Tell the other cells what to do when a foreign invader comes in. Then you have your macrophages, which are your troops. Think of them as like your Marine Corps, right? We're sending them to go handle business when that foreign invader comes in. And then you have immunoglobulin A, or IgA. Think of them as lookouts, the guards, and also your primary defense when they first come in. Okay, so these guys basically detect that they're the foreign invaders. They carry that there are foreign invaders or antigens in the body. They carry that signal back to the general cytokines, and then the cytokines coordinate and attack via the macrophages to go ahead and handle business, okay? When you're in a fasted state, because you don't have enough amino acids for the immune system to carry out its proper functions, this immune system response can be compromised. So your immune system is always going to be more effective in a fed state than a fasted state. But again, this is a prolonged type of thing. So typically after 48 hours is when it starts to affect the immune system. Now, fasting does have some benefits. This isn't a video to rag on fasting. Fasting is one of the only ways that you can truly cleanse and clean the body, okay? Especially if your diet's already not good to begin with. Fasting induces something called autophagy, and autophagy is the only way that you can get rid of damaged or mutated cells. When you think of fasting, and when you think of autophagy, think of the trash man coming every couple of weeks to your neighborhood. If the trash man never came, you took the trash out the house, but the trash is still circulating in your neighborhood. So think of your house as your organs, and think of your neighborhood as your body, and think of the trash man as autophagy coming to basically break down these cells so that your liver and your kidneys can excrete it via urea, okay? So this is a good thing. So it's okay to practice intermittent fasting or fasting every now and then. Just don't overdo it. More is not always better. Frequency is okay, but longer prolonged periods of fasting have not been shown to be more beneficial than just fasting for 24 to 48 hours every so often, okay? So to sum this up, when you are in a fed state, your immune system response is going to be higher. Your ability to build muscle is going to be higher because insulin is elevated and glucagon is not elevated. When you're fasted, all of that flips. Your immune system's compromised. Glucagon is elevated and insulin is decreased, so your ability to build muscle is decreased. And again, this is for survival purposes because your body wants to utilize the protein from your muscle so that it doesn't take it from your vital organs, so that you can still have energy inside of the body. Okay, so this is actually a good thing. If you are starving, your body's trying to protect you when it elevates glucagon. Okay, and then of course if you eat too much, right, there's always extremes for both. If you fast too much, it has bad effects. If you eat too much, if you overeat more than your needs, then you will develop insulin resistance because insulin is now elevated more than it needs to be. Everything is a moderation. Everything is a balance act. Your body is trying to maintain homeostasis. You have a thermometer in your body which basically regulates everything, and it wants to remain constant. If you constantly click your thermometer in your house, it's going to break. Well, it's the same thing with your body. Okay, so if you overeat, then you are more likely to develop insulin resistance, and now you have a whole host of other issues such as developing type 2 diabetes, you have chronic inflammation, and a whole host of other issues. However, if you're eating adequately for your needs throughout the day, insulin is beneficial because, like I said, your immune system is going to be improved, protein metabolism is going to be elevated, and insulin also inhibits the oxidation of other cells, which can in turn lead to a longer life overall, because oxidation of cells is a bad thing. That leads to heart health issues and elevated cholesterol and things like that. So insulin can be your friend, but it can also be your enemy. Glucagon can be your friend, it can also be your enemy. So take that into consideration. Hopefully this video has given you some insight into just how important protein is, not only in terms of building muscle, but in terms of just the overall functions of your body. I mean, your brain needs it, your organ needs it, and everything like that. Thank you for tuning into the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Till next time.